In a sleepy village in southern Germany, a tinkering shoemaker named Adolf Dassler worked in his tiny workshop, building shoes from scraps. It was 1920, and he had one ambition: create the perfect athletic shoe. With no electricity, Adi powered his tools using a stationary bicycle. His brother Rudolf, a charismatic salesman, joined him. Together, they dreamt of building a sports empire from leather, laces, and sheer grit. By 1936, their shoes had reached the feet of Jesse Owens, who wore them as he shattered records and Nazi ideology at the Berlin Olympics. The world took notice. Dassler shoes were suddenly stamped in history. But behind the scenes, tensions brewed between the Dassler brothers. Their personalities clashed. Adi, quiet and focused; Rudolf, bold and brash. The war years would only deepen their divide. During World War II, their factory shifted to making military gear. Accusations flew. One brother suspected the other of betrayal. Allegiances fractured. By 1948, their partnership was beyond repair. In a bitter split, the brothers divided everything: the factory, the employees, even the town. Adi renamed his company Adidas. Rudolf walked across the river and founded his own brand, Puma. The town of Herzogenaurach was now divided by more than water. Locals chose sides, either Team Adidas or Team Puma. Even marriages were impacted. It wasn't just a rift, it was a feud. Adi focused on innovation. He created the iconic three stripes, not just for style, but for function, to stabilize the foot. It became a symbol recognized worldwide, stitched into the soul of sport. In 1954, West Germany faced Hungary in the World Cup final. Adidas provided their cleats, revolutionary boots with screw-in studs, adaptable to the rain-soaked pitch. Germany won. Adidas became a legend. That match wasn't just a victory for football. It was a victory for Adi Dassler. His shoes had helped win a nation's pride, and Adidas had cemented itself into sporting history. Meanwhile, Puma wasn't far behind. Rudolf signed athletes like Pele and gained traction in the sneaker world. But Adidas always seemed one step ahead, literally shaping the future of athletic performance. By the 1970s, Adidas wasn't just on the field, it was in the streets. It crossed over into fashion. Run DMC made history in 1986 with My Adidas, the first hip-hop endorsement deal. "Me and my Adidas do the illest things," they rapped. That partnership opened the floodgates for artist brand collaborations. Adidas had become more than gear, it was culture. Streetwear had a new king. But as the 90s approached, Nike emerged as a fierce competitor, signing Michael Jordan and changing the game. Adidas, once untouchable, began losing ground, especially in the US market. Revenues dipped. Adidas was seen as old school, reliable but not exciting. Trendy consumers wanted flash. Nike had just done it. Adidas needed more than shoes. It needed a comeback. In the 2000s, Adidas bought Reebok to expand in America, but the move backfired. Sales underperformed. Rival brands surged ahead. Executives scrambled to keep the brand relevant. The stripes were fading. Then came a bold idea: lean into the past, but with a modern twist. Adidas began reviving classic designs, the Stan Smith, the Superstar, and paired them with high-fashion collaborations. Partnering with designers like Yohji Yamamoto and Kanye West, Adidas blurred the line between sport and style. The Yeezy line became a cultural phenomenon, with fans camping overnight for a chance to buy. Suddenly, Adidas had heat again, not just in stores, but on Instagram, on red carpets, on stages. The old brand had found new rhythm. The stripes were back in style. Meanwhile, innovation never stopped. Adidas pushed eco-friendly initiatives like shoes made from ocean plastic. They even created a fully recyclable sneaker, a step towards a more sustainable future. In a world drowning in waste, Adidas asked, what if fashion could clean the planet? It wasn't just good business. It was a bold message, and consumers listened. Their Future Craft line, introduced 3D printed midsoles and personalized cushioning. Athletes noticed. Runners praised the tech. Adidas was once again at the cutting edge of performance. On the pitch, stars like Lionel Messi and Mohamed Salah wore the 3 stripes. In basketball, James Harden and Damian Lillard brought swagger back to Adidas hoops. And in pop culture, Beyoncé launched Ivy Park with Adidas, merging empowerment, music, and style. It was no longer just about sports. Adidas had become a lifestyle. By 2020, Adidas was the second largest sportswear brand in the world. Not bad for a company born from a village workshop and a sibling rivalry. But the feud was never truly forgotten. The Dassler brothers never reconciled. They're buried in the same cemetery, but as far apart as possible. A fitting end to one of the greatest rivalries in business history. Yet their legacy lives on in every sneaker, every sprint, every slam dunk. Adidas and Puma, born from the same roots, forever competing. A family feud that shaped the world of sport. Today, Herzogenaurach embraces its unique history. Locals work for both brands. The rivalry is more friendly now, a reminder that even bitter beginnings can lead to greatness. Kids play in parks wearing both logos. Dreams don't care about rivalries. They just need a good pair of shoes and someone to believe in them. And hey, if you're enjoying this story, maybe lace up and click that subscribe button. No running required. We've got more stories with soul and souls. From a hand-cranked workshop to global stardom, Adidas has walked and sprinted an incredible path. But its story isn't over. The next chapter is already being written, one step at a time. In a fast-changing world, Adidas continues to adapt, blending tech, fashion, and purpose. It's not just about performance now. It's about identity, sustainability, and staying ahead of the curve. With over 60,000 employees, operations in 100+ countries, and billions in revenue, Adidas stands tall as a global icon. But it never forgets its humble origins or the brother who once stood beside Adi. Maybe that's the real legacy. Not just the shoes, but the spirit of competition, of reinvention, of never settling. The fire lit in that tiny workshop still burns around the world today. Every cheer in a stadium, every buzzer beater, every medal won. Somewhere in that moment, there's a piece of Adidas. A reminder that greatness often begins with a dream, stitched together by hand. And sometimes, the biggest brands come from the smallest places. Born not just from ambition, but from rivalry, resilience, and a refusal to give up. That's the soul of Adidas. 3 stripes, 1 vision, a century in the making, and still chasing greatness. One step, one sprint, one story at a time.